Rhonda Bailey. Here. Sean Bartlesmeyer. Jim Fewens.
Here.
Brian Holt.
Here.
Chad McGinnis.
Here.
Doug Rob.
Yes. Here. Be join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. I call this June regular meeting of the Board of Trustees to order. Have any comments tonight? Do we have any comments from the public? Song. A song? No, not for me. Okay.
Yeah, he would have seen this.
So we're gonna need somebody to move to amend the agenda. Amend the agenda. Second. Okay, it's on here.
Can you read that?
Yes, I moved to amend the consent agenda by adding resolution 2024-34, consideration of nursing and remodel bids as item G under action.
Second. Thank you, thank you. It's been moved and seconded to amend the agenda to add item G under action items. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say aye. Motion carried. And now we need to vote to approve it. It's item 5.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda, which includes the consent agenda as listed, the approval of the agenda, the approval of minutes of previous regular board meeting conducted on May 20th, special board meetings on May 23rd and June 10th. Also, we're going to be approving the bills and claims and approval of personnel actions. Do we have any discussion? I'm just going to read through some of the personnel actions. We have 3 additions that we're approving. The first is Christopher Wheeler as a maintenance technician. That's going to be effective June 18, 2024. Juwan Horton, assistant track and field coach, effective June 18, 2024. And Tony Summers as a nursing instructor, effective July 31st, 2024. And we have one separation, that's Kent Aiken from the John Deere technology instructor position. That's effective July 31st. So it has been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as amended. All in favor, say aye. 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 Any opposed, say aye. Motion carried. That takes us to our action items. Starts on page 40. Action item A, resolution 2024-28, consideration of annual camp grant laptop purchase. So there's background on item A on page says 41, about the Tri-State College Assistant Migrant Program. Lynn, you want to talk about this?
Yeah, I'm Lynn Wheeler. I'm the director of Tri-State Camp. Camp is our federal grant that we were awarded. This is to purchase new laptop computers for our students. We serve 40 students a year. We have a couple of sisters going from year 3 to year 4. So we are in need to purchase 28 new laptops. There are 3 quotes here. All of these will be purchased by grant fund. It is in our current budget.
So the recommendation that the board of trustees approve the quote from Lenovo Direct for $32,480. Have any questions? So pretty straightforward.
Yeah, so moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the quote from Lenovo Direct for these laptop computers. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say aye. Motion carried. Thank you. Moves us to item B, resolution 2024-29, consideration of KASB workers' compensation member participation premium agreement. This is on page 49.
Make a comment that our bot factor is still down pretty low. If you look at the history, you go back 14 and 15, it's like a 2.10. And the amount of our insurance is 127,000 compared to 37,000. So it's actually less than last year.
Yeah.
That means we're not having any accidents.
We have two things that we're looking at here. The workers' compensation fund membership participation agreement, as well as the loyalty credit program.
So we've been part of the KASB work comp fund for a number of years. In fact, every year that you see there in the agenda, a rate plus even years before that, are representative of time with KASB. This would be year 4. So 4 years ago, they kicked off a loyalty program to help create some predictability in what their membership pool would look like. And if you participated in that program as an employer, you had, it was a 3-year agreement. Year 1, you would receive a 10% reduction in your premium. Year 2, you would receive 5% reduction in your premium, and year 3 was a 3-year reduction in that premium. So really, we're asking for whatever action you take here, you're taking action on 2 things: participation in the loyalty program and participation in the work comp fund. But by saying yes for the loyalty program, you're saying yes for the next 2 years of KASB, and then you're continuing to improve those rates as they come in.
So are we at the end of a?
Yes, we did the 3-year
Oh.
loyalty program, and so I didn't know if they would kick off another round. They
That's
are,
2 years.
so
Okay.
this would be the first year of a 3-year program,
Oh, 3 years.
of another 3-year
Okay.
cycle. Yeah. But it gets us the big percentage off again, back at the top of that.
So our actual premium would be 33,000.
Yes.
Is there a downside to being in this program at all?
No,
Other than you're locked in for 3 years with the
Right.
KASB?
right. Not that we've seen over the last 3 years, honestly, as far as the loyalty program is concerned. But then participation in KASB's fund it's really beneficial from an employer standpoint. Yeah. Because you're part of a larger pool, which helps to control those rates and your exposure should something happen. But then their customer service side is really responsive. When you do have something happen, they've got a claims adjuster that works directly one-on-one with that employee that's been injured and sets up all of their appointments, gets their reimbursements, and just really holds their hands with all of these.
So anybody know why it was so high back when it just started out?
Well, first of all, we weren't in the group. We probably in a independent. I know our company went through the same thing. You couldn't get workers' comp, so you went in with a lumber association. So consequently, the group of together lowered your premium.
So FSC, as long as I've been here, I'm sorry, Jen.
And the mod factor, the mod factor back in 14 and 15 was like 2.10 or 2.1. Anytime at mod factor, there's a couple one, you've got some accidents. When it's below one, it's a few accidents or none. So mod factor really work when it comes to workers' compensation.
So those higher rates and those higher premiums that you're seeing on there, and as long as I've been here, we've been under the KSB fund. I'm not real sure when they started, but for a number of years. Just taken 1 year off the bottom of that and then added one on, they've all been KSB years, but. Those higher rates that you see there are just like what Jim said, we had some really hefty situations. And sometimes those are high cost injuries, and sometimes they are, there's a legal component involved too, just depends on what it is, where that charge goes to.
Legal's handled by the KASB.
Yep. If they think they're gonna have to litigate a case or something like that, then there's some additional charge there.
The additional charge, okay.
Well, it increases your mod factor because it increases your exposure.
But, okay.
So ultimately, yes, it increases your charge. Ultimately, yes, it increases.
Next year,
your-
this time, would it cost?
And your mod factor is based on a 3-year window, and so that 3-year window is always rolling.
But at the time, they handle it, but then it shows up in a mod factor, mod factor there.
Looks good to me. I make a motion to accept this.
Which includes both the,
Yes.
okay. Second.
Okay.
It's been moved and seconded to approve both the KASB Workers' Compensation Fund membership participation agreement as well as the loyalty credit program. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say aye. Motion carried. All right, that takes us to item C. Resolution 2024-30, consideration of 2024-25 meeting dates and times. It's on page
56.
I got 56 on mine. It says say 49 on 56. We got dates and times for the next fiscal year 2024-25. Regular monthly meeting. Official meeting dates are the third Monday of each month unless stated otherwise.
We throw around the issue of maybe making them earlier in the day. Is
Yep.
that something we want to consider?
Yes. I'm very open to that.
I mean, I'm not talking like noon or 2, I'm talking like maybe, what, 4? In that,
There, do you have an opinion?
Work very between.
motion to accept the dates with the change of time.
The motion is to accept the dates and move the regular monthly meeting time to 4 p.m. as the start time.
That would be an addition to. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's right. I would.
What did you say? Jim?
But the motion is these days with the added time period. There's no time period on here, so we're adding that time.
Correct. We would be moving our normal start time from 5:30 to 4 p.m.
I second that motion. Contemplate motion.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the proposed meeting dates for our regular meeting with a start time of 4 p.m. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say aye. Something I want to mention, just kind of in this general topic. I don't know if we have to necessarily vote on it, but I've been talking to our president about some of the staffing that's on campus, and one of those is our IT. They're stretched pretty thin right now. They're shortening it. Something I would like for us to consider is suspending the Zoom streaming so that they aren't having to stay here outside of their normally scheduled hours. It just to do that. I think it would help them achieve a little bit better work-life balance. They already have to come in enough outside of business hours for emergencies anyway.
Especially, yeah, our regular meetings and our executive session meetings.
The special meetings, and this just would be, in my mind, it would be kind of a temporary measure until, you know, we get our staffing back at where it normally should be. But that would give them a little bit of relief, one night a month anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know that we need to vote on that, do we? All right, we're moving on. Item D, resolution 2024-31, consideration of property and liability insurance quotes. This is on page 57. Renewal summary and pricing from the Kansas Insurance Cooperative for Schools property and liability coverage for the 2024-25 fiscal year. Talk about this a little bit.
Well, I think it just needs to be, our deductibles, what our deductibles are on this. And we're kind of restricted on where we can buy insurance.
Right.
For our facility. I think it just needs to be explained that. So we don't have much choice.
Our current policy expires June 30, right?
Yes.
That's the end of their service. So that was a different company.
That's the one that's expiring.
No, it's same company. That's, I believe so.
Now, last year, we went to this conference.
So
Have we checked with other companies? I know there's people, I know it's hard to do. But have we checked with other companies?
This fall was already rolling and I don't think that we.
You know, this all happened before I started
Right,
too.
right.
But I vaguely remember Gina saying that a lot of this, the quote and everything was started back in like February or February timeframe. So I don't know if they put that out for quote or not for other agencies or not.
I think Gina probably looked at this, and they're probably going to think better with this.
That was great.
It is comparable to what's in the past. It's higher. That's the same lot.
Last year it really went up. 70,000.
Nationwide, it's about 51% increase.
In the deductible.
So the things that you, when you look at these deductibles, they're terrifying. I mean, what is an AOP? AOP deductible 50,000. Accident on property?
Yeah.
I'm just making this up. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
right.
Sounds good.
I do have somebody that we buy insurance from. At the lumberyard, they can't buy insurance here, it's Federated Insurance. And the regional manager said he'd be glad to come and look over what we had and give advice. He wouldn't charge us anything. But that will be going forward next year.
Insurance deal, he stand for all the other boroughs. Oh, all of the parents. Comparison.
There you go. Well.
When you add everything together, the property itself is 260. Automobile, 5,000 seems all cheap.
Don't we have a bunch of automobiles we're talking about getting off the?
Yeah, so crappy, or something. Last year. You're close to last year's premium. Just did you know what last year's premium was?
I don't, I can find out. I do know that, there was some conversation, email conversation with the, CACBO group, which is the community college, finance team people. And most of them did have the C or KICS insurance for Philadelphia. I think those were the two. There might have been one other one, but most of them have this. Check to see if there was any elsewhere, what other colleges were doing. And you mentioned the automobile. I believe if Gina told me that was like a fleet coverage.
Oh.
So you can add and remove as you go, and it stays pretty much the same.
I think you're right.
Last year. This what was in last year's board packet was 288,000.
And 12,000 last year.
Next year we might shop this around a little bit.
Well,
Get on top of everything.
Yeah.
And I can have this read for our company come down. He said he left come down the truck. Take a look at
Just
it.
a look at it.
Yeah, because he's a regional manager. For so he's seen a lot of things. But I don't know if we can do anything else now. I think we'll be accept this bid with the insurance coverage.
Then the fancy letters.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the property and liability insurance for Kansas Insurance Cooperative for Schools for $300,960.50. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say aye. Motion carried. All right, resolution, this is item E, resolution 2024-32. Consideration of Educational Assessments Corporation license renewal. Following is a quote for EAC Visual Data License Renewal for 1 year. They are the sole source provider of the EAC Visual Data Software, which is a learning analytics building block for Blackboard Learner. This is on page 60.
Yeah, so Blackboard in the classroom, how many Blackboard systems we have?
Oh, everybody has.
Everybody
Each-
has.
Everybody, even adjunct.
Even the, like Pittsburgh and, well, Hale.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. It's an important factor when you use to teach with it.
Yeah.
And I rather doubt that there's any instructor in the system that doesn't use it.
We were required to use it to put grades on and everything. And so I just think it's definitely,
I know there's a time, it's been a long time ago, where just a few classrooms had.
no, I think you're thinking about the smart boards. Yeah, smart board systems. Yeah, because I was one of the first ones to get that. Yeah.
So there's,
And this piece is an addition to Blackboard. It helps with assessment, but everybody has to put their assessment data for us to be in compliance with HLC. So this is the renewal for that.
So this is just a component of Blackboard. We will have our Blackboard renewal at the under date, but it's the, like, Sonia said, the assessment. The monitoring portion of that, which we need in order to document.
And help with testing statistics and all. Yes, I second. It's nationwide,
It's,
unless you go with some other.
yeah.
Uh,
It's pretty good.
It's been moved by Doug and seconded by Rhonda, to approve the license renewal quote for $7,956 with Educational Assessments Corporation. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say aye. Motion carried. All right. Item F, on page 62, resolution 2024-33, consideration of the cone elevator repair proposal. Background here, the elevator in Bailey Hall was rendered useless after a brownout earlier this year. Repair of the elevator is necessary so anyone with mobility limitations is able to access the library. Following is a proposal from Cone for repair of the elevator. And we're looking at an estimate. Solid number. 30, yes.
or
I don't know, 39,889, I'm not sure what the.
Basically, it's that. Yeah. It has had problems for years.
Is this the only company that does it back then, or is that what we're contracted with? Is that right?
this was probably their elevator. We have an elevator in our church and the people that put it in and basically the representative for that company. But I'm assuming it's probably a company. And people that represent company.
I'm just curious, how old is that been?
No, they put it in the 80s, wasn't it, early 80s?
It was in the 80s.
And we've had troubles, we've lived for about the last 10 years with it, I think. It works and it doesn't work, it works and it doesn't.
There you're working with an elevator, but this seems really expensive. But if it brings it up and it makes it work, it's actually pretty cheap. Yeah. We spent $200,000 to put an elevator in the church.
Expensive, like any purpose.
It's done, yeah, I mean, patches, patching back.
Actually, we, since that was on the second floor, we have provided access.
I think we have to.
Yeah.
If you can't get to the library or, yeah, or can't bring you those activities.
You know, like in the hedges, there's access from both the ground level upstairs and the ground level going into the basement. So that is adequate, but we do not have access to the thing other than stairs. You know.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Make a motion we approve.
Second.
Might just make a comment on this agreement that we're signing. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know that it really matters, but they obviously expect half of it down.
Yeah,
Not
so
25%.
yeah. It's that.
Anybody know all of our elevators are on phones? Or did we know if they're all one?
No, we have one. I don't know.
In the First Street campus.
was, I didn't know that. The discussion, it seems like something we got to shop around, you know, to get some bids for better companies. I don't know, I know there's. But. Place up in Kansas City that. Okay, I'm just curious what if we. What the difference in price would be, maybe it'd be the same. All right, so thank you about that. Two nasty letters now.
No, that, but you have good points there. You really do. That's what the problem I have, is that we don't shop around, and we don't get bids from other places, and we need to do that.
Okay. Been moved and seconded to approve the cone elevator repair proposal for $39,889 plus applicable taxes. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say aye. Motion carried. Okay. For the item G, this is what we added to the agenda. Item G is resolution 2024-34, the consideration of nursing remodel bids. The background, Fscc put out an RFP for work in the lower level of the Dick Hedges Administration Building to facilitate the nursing program's move to main campus. The remodel focuses on 3 different sections. Following is the original RFP as well as the one bid received by the June 13th deadline from Tri-State Building. I think it's worth noting that this was part of our action plan for the nursing program that was presented to the Kansas Board of Nursing. So it is imperative that we get it done.
And I've been on the advisory board, and they have been very kind, as the board of nursing, to us.
Okay,
They brought this up at least the last 4 or 5 years that they. The Birch Street wasn't working,
okay.
so we've had warning. Now we have what we have to do.
They say they can get this done by July 31st.
So it will be very close. So we will be prioritizing what rooms need to be occupied by the start of school. And we'll come up, we have started sketching out what that might look like if it doesn't happen, because you know how construction goes, so trying to make work with the nursing department to. If we need to move the student facility with different room for class, but trying to get as much done as we can or kind of up against.
So if we approve it tonight, you know, we might start.
So if you all approve this tonight, the endowment board will also need their approval as well, because the funds for this will be coming out of the Snyder funds from the foundation. So, this is kind of the first step. And hoping to kind of have everything approved by the end of the week so that we can move forward with that, because we are on a time crunch. So I thought I would read a little blurb from the request on the bill in Noreen Snyder. Documentation from the foundation, just so that you are aware. Noreen Snyder was a 1942 graduate of Sisters of Mercy School of Nursing and enjoyed a long career as a nurse. Noreen passed away in November of 2011 at the age of 90, and her husband Bill followed her in death a month later. Through a bequest, Bill and Noreen Snyder generously named Fort Scott Community College Nursing Department as a recipient of $532,000 gift to be used in helping train nursing students. So that fund has increased in amount, and so the foundation will approve to use some of those funds for this.
Make the motion.
So we're looking at We really need to have section 1 and 2 basically done before school starts, right?
So we haven't gotten this far with the nursing department on kind of hashing out which ones are gonna be the most important. So in this quote, there's gonna be a bathroom added into the basement.
Good.
And currently there is access to bathrooms upstairs, so that might be one that's not as important starting off
We have the
this
elevator.
year because we have the upstairs. And then there are some, so there's a lot of work that needs done in the basement, but the lab rooms, I think would be a high priority for the nursing department because there is so much equipment that they have at Burke Street that needs to move into those lab, those sim lab, all of their, you know, the things that they use for those lab classes. And it's a lot of moving stuff over, so I'm thinking that that's probably where they will say the most important rooms are, but I don't know that for sure.
And the lab room is which one?
So
Do you want
they
25
are,
or 25?
okay, let me try to map this out. So do you remember which one, E?
I don't remember the name, but the football.
Field banner.
Yeah.
No,
they-
bandits,
they
much well, I do
yes,
that.
Is
So
one of the
that's-
sim labs, and then there's a room closest to the outside door, which will be replaced in this bid. That will also be another lab room. And we would love to take anyone through
But
this.
that's for allied health, because we
Oh,
can
okay.
move allied
that's
health
my
as well.
office.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Natalie, because there is an office in there,
Mhm.
and she's the allied health instructor, so she's gonna be there, lab is gonna be there.
Okay.
And then her classroom will be a little down the hallway.
Oh,
Okay. Kind of sharing.
I was just curious how that was gonna work, because I knew that there was another big room they used to use for lab in the back. Behind IT.
So yeah, if you want to tour. I think things have changed, maybe there's some office areas down there now behind IT, so
They used to
if
change
anybody would
the
like a
wall.
walkthrough and us explain it, please
Okay.
swing by
I'm just
and maybe
curious.
show you what we're thinking.
So the stuff is stored in rooms, if they all worked out to get that out.
Yes, we have found locations for the,
I'm just looking, you showed me.
yes, I think we've landed on places to put, yes.
So what we're doing here tonight, we're approving this bid. But then the foundation board has to approve the funding. Right,
Yes, I mean, since it's an update to our facilities.
right, I agree with that. That's- We're all clear for voting on here.
Yeah, well, it won't be official, the foundation board needs to make sure everything is following.
I motion we accept the bid.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the bid from Tri-State Building for all three sections of the nursing program remodel for $191,394. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say aye. Motion carried. That moves us through the action items and into administrative reports.
I'll go. Don't have a whole lot, but, our summer classes started June 3rd, mainly online. John Deere started their new certificate program. Outlook is still going on. Vicky also, started offering, CPR not for credit. So anybody who wants to take it and not just, get their certification, she had her first class on June 8th, and she has decided she is gonna offer these every quarter. And the next class would be October 5th, so anybody wants to come, I mean, a 16-year-old can come and get their CPR certification, so. We had 4 students, that Saturday morning, so it wasn't bad. The other thing I have on the allied health side or a nursing side is I and Dorcas went to KSBN to give our quarterly update in terms of how we are moving with our nursing program, and the move was the biggest part because we have told them since they came in December that we are gonna be moving our nursing program to our main campus, so they were kind of excited, and they were asking, would we be able to do it in time? I was like, that is the hope. So we are hoping to get that done. The other thing, I think is Cosmo is getting ready for chamber coffee. The chamber coffee for them is June 27th, and I want to give a special thanks to Rhonda Bailey and Patty Rock, who have decided to donate everything or take care of all the food and drinks for the chamber coffee. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Cosmo is, I also got them the paint because we have different colors on those walls. So they already painted. I went this morning and it is all done. It looks amazing. So we are excited. The students are excited, the teachers are excited for the chamber coffee and everybody to come and see what it looks like. I submitted an application for NC Sarah, and NC Sarah is basically for all our online classes when a student in a different state can take our classes. So they are by a reciprocity agreement, and we have to abide by that. So I should just revise some of the information on our website, and I sent that information to Cable, and hoping I'll hear from them soon if anything needs to be done, or they'll just renew it for 1 year, and we have to renew that agreement every year. The main thing I'm working on is degree maps. Cable had come up with this last year. They are asking everybody for I think easy transferability for all the students to 4-year institutions. Every institution has to create a degree map, which includes what math pathway they're going to be taking, what is going to be placement policy. So I've been working on that, and that is due June 30th. I have to just put our degree maps on our website, so I'm working on that. And in addition to that is our performance agreements report, which goes to Cable, and our funding is what we get from Cable or state is attached to it. So I reached out to the person at Cable, who's kind of our liaison, to see if they could look at our stuff to make sure it is accurate. The other thing I did was I attended a KCIA meeting this past weekend, Thursday and Friday. I was gone to Wichita. KCIA is basically all the VP of academic affairs of the community colleges. It was very, very beneficial. You know, we meet every quarter, but it is over Zoom, but they have a June retreat, which I was able to meet all of them in person and getting all that knowledge and making those relationships. I think it was very, very beneficial, and they have been very, very helpful. We've talked to them about our comprehensive visit, and those people are ready to jump in. They're like, if you want us to read your assurance argument, we'll do that, or if you want to not visit, we'll help with that. So it was a great experience. The other thing I'm going through is the ALO training, which is our accreditation liaison officer training. So Sarah was supposed to go through it, but then things changed. So I am the person who is going through it and should be able to finish that training in 6 weeks, which is kind of going to help us with our visits. And we also attended our comprehensive, I think, steering committee. I think that's what we've called that. We attended a training for that too. I think a whole bunch of us. And I think it was pretty beneficial. That's all I have. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Sonia.
I will speak very shortly. This is tomorrow will be 1 week. First of all, I want to thank you guys for approving my hiring. Please know that this was not a decision that I made easily. It was the hardest decision I've ever had to make with my career, because I loved teaching. I loved everything about it, but I can tell you right now, I'm so excited. This is the most exciting thing I've done in years. We just kind of hit the ground running. Last week, I got to do a lot of one-on-one conversations with the student services employees, which was very important to me. Just gather information, goals, and all those things. If you haven't seen, we've started a Facebook page. And the reason for that is not only to show the amazing employees we have, but also when there's student activities or anything like that, we want to make sure that the students are aware of it. Or if Missouri Southern or something is coming on campus, we want to make sure the students are aware of that. So I was actually thankful the first couple of days. They weren't easy by any means. They weren't slow by any means, but I didn't have access to a lot of the files that I have access to now that I've had to dive in. So it was a good first week, and And today's been busy and we're working on Title IX training and everything, and I'm super excited, so just thank you guys, and thank you for trusting me, and just know that I'm going to work my hardest on this, I'm very excited about it.
Thanks for getting We're excited, you're excited.
Hello, I have now been working over here in the Office of VP of Finance and Operations for 3 weeks now, starting tomorrow. So I have a few things to report. The business office, I think, is fully staffed now finally, it's been short for a while. So they're busy learning their new positions and what they're to do. And I feel like my head is spinning from soaking up all the information that I could get from Gina before she left. Friday was her last day, and she come carrying in books and books and books and stuff. So they're all sitting everywhere, but this today has been very busy. I've been working with Justin on a little bit on the budget. He helped us also with the Perkins grant. Now that we're hitting the end of the year, we have a lot of grant periods that are coming to an end, and we have to submit some reporting and do our drawdowns so we can get some funding. I started out reviewing policies at first, and now they've kind of got on the back burner for all this other stuff, but I'll get back to those. And then I've attended a few of those CACFO finance sessions and quarterly meetings, which is the finance people with all the other Kansas community colleges. So we're busy. I just drinking, like I said, I'm drinking from a fire hose right now. So trying to get up to speed as possible. Hopefully we can get some good financial reports out before too long. I'm starting to learn the system, and it's a little bit archaic, but I'm trying to figure out ways to get the information out.
The 1900s.
Yeah, so you guys have any questions?
I might just add a couple of things. So the KACC had a finance 101 webinar the first part of June. I know Missy was on there, I was on there, I think Rhonda was on there. Everybody else was, with really good information about board packet reporting. So we're gonna see some changes to what we've had in the past that I think will be beneficial. The other thing that was recommended as part of that training was to develop a finance committee for the board. And so we didn't throw it out to everybody just in an effort to kind of get started. Jim and I are going to be on this first go around. We'll probably rotate at least one person in and out about every 6 months is what we're thinking. And so today we met with Missy and Sarah and also Justin at our first meeting to kind of line out the stuff we're going to be talking about. That'll give us an opportunity to, everybody will get what we're talking about in the committee meeting. Like you'll all see the packet. It's going to be a separate packet from the board packet. And then we'll meet, kind of go through in depth, checks that are being written, the bank statements, the financial, and all that.
Be much more detailed.
Yes. So,
And I went ahead and scheduled the next meeting for July 8th, which is the week before our next board meeting.
so we're trying to have that meeting Monday.
I'd like to have a lot of that, those financial reports, at least the start of them going out.
If you have one, you can order them along to anybody that's on. The other thing, just, I think everybody's aware of this, but just as a reminder, we've got a special board meeting planned for June 27th at 2:30, which is a meeting to amend the budget for 2023-24, right? Justin is nodding in the back there. Thank you, Justin. So we'll have that meeting, and so we just want to make sure we've got a form there for that.
The hope is to have another meeting right after that with some regular meeting type info.
That's it.
after that meeting.
Yes,
Okay.
like following,
Following.
right,
Okay.
like maybe a list of, we looked at memberships and consortium too. So
Okay, stuff that we,
Yeah.
housekeeping stuff. And
I
then,
just want to make a comment. I appreciate Justin taking the effort to be here, help us today in the financial committee, and he's been on campus. I just want to acknowledge, we appreciate that.
yeah. How long are you gonna be in Fort Scott? Through Wednesday. Through Wednesday, oh, this weekend. That's
He's checking out all the restaurants, so. And take more.
Shoot, buddy.
Okay, I'll go next. So I know we've had some board meetings, but not really, I guess, a regular board meeting since this, so I'll just kind of give some updates. As coming into this position, communication and transparency has been at the top of my list as far as both with you all as a board and with our employees. And so we've kind of, I've ramped that up, put some thought and effort into how I wanted to present this. And I've started doing a Sunday thoughts email, which I know that gets sent to you all on Sunday at some point in time. And followed up by usually a Monday morning to you guys personally on a little more detailed communication. But you see what I get to send to employees as well as the email on Monday. Probably won't send one today since I have to go right here in front of me. Also wanted to start having face-to-face conversations with our employees. So really trying to focus in on some conversation meetings. So anytime there is a board meeting, the following day, so people don't have to wonder when it is, we'll do a 2 o'clock conversation. Generally, it's Tuesdays, so Tuesdays at 2 is something easy to remember. Some of you have attended those and I greatly appreciate it. We will have another one tomorrow. Over communication at this time, even if it's some of the same information that we've been putting out in an email or so said the last week is good communication. I've gotten a ton of positive feedback on that, which is awesome because that's something I feel like our employees have been missing here recently. So those are ways of communication that I'm trying to do on a weekly basis. Even if we don't have, we get out of this period where we're having some special meetings and this summer has been kind of crazy. We will get to where we're just having one board meeting a month. We'll still have a conversation meeting with employees, probably mid-month, kind of in between, just to keep that communication open. Since we are going into, our HLC visit is not terribly far away. It seems like it's far away, but for those of us that have our hands in it, it's like, oh my gosh, it's like gonna be here tomorrow. So we want to make sure we are over communicating when it comes to that. So those are a couple of things that I have implemented since being in this position that I know you guys are aware of, but wanted to point that out. Some of you stole some of my things I was going to talk about, like our executive, our financial committee. That is another way of trying to be transparent, having you all be a little more involved on what's going on and rotating that around so that you know who to go to first and foremost, if you have questions, and then if you can't get answers, then you can always obviously reach out to us, but then also rotating you guys in and out of that so that you have a chance to understand. Yeah, I think it'll just help answer questions a little quicker when we do have questions, and things will make a little more sense if everybody has the opportunity to be on that committee and rotate in and out of that. So I'm extremely excited that you guys are willing to do that and that we're going to start doing that about a week before, so that way we're not putting too much work on Missy to get some of that financial stuff ready too far in front of the board meeting to have to rework it for the board meeting. So trying to make them close to the board meeting, but yet give you guys enough time if you have questions to ask those questions so that our regular board meetings don't get too long. HLC, I know some of you talked about this a little bit. We have had some training as a group, as our steering committee. Through this process, we are going to be including just about everyone, including some of you and all of you at some point in time as we navigate creating and writing our insurance argument, which is our big long paper, if I like to explain it, where we are proving what we are doing and providing evidence on how we are meeting what HLC is asking us to meet, these 4 competencies. So we'll be including you guys. I think our training we did a few weeks ago was really, really good. Gave us some good ideas and some tips and tricks and some starting points on how to get organized. And we've been working on this. This committee's been working on it since January, really, is when we started meeting just about every other week. But now we're ready to buckle down and start writing and pushing this out because it ultimately is going to touch every single person that we have on not just this campus, but all of our other locations. So we'll be rolling more of that out as we start to get organized. We have our next meeting tomorrow, so we're looking forward to that. Our executive team, which is also awesome, we are full. We haven't had a full executive team as far as all of our positions still at that level where we get to meet every Monday at 9 o'clock. We have a new endowment director, and so we're excited to actually have like enough manpower to get everything done that we get done and generate some really great ideas. It's been awesome we were trying to cap it at 2 hours so far, our Monday. Yeah, we did go over a little bit, that's all right. We have a lot to talk about, but it's been nice to have a group to be able to put our heads together, and that's, how it should be, and so it's been nice to have that group. And as everybody's learning, giving each other grace on, we're all learning some new positions. So, but it's been fun to be able to do that. And I feel like we're getting a lot more accomplished than we could. So that is something else that we are excited. The nursing move, other things that have kind of been on my forefront, the nursing move has been extremely important to me because that is something that affects our nursing program greatly. And so we've been trying to make things happen. And so I greatly appreciate you guys approving this bid. And we have a company that can try to come in and get this done before we are starting school. We are also moving out of Pittsburgh cosmetology by the end of the month. And so we will have students wrap up in about end of this week, next week, mid next week-ish, and we will be vacating that building by the end of the month. So just to give you a heads up on that, that's another move. The good news is our cosmetology program here is full, and they have had a couple on the wait list for this round of new students that will be coming in July, right after the 4th of July. So the cosmetology instructors have been working out how they're going to have more students in, because that will be more students than we've had in our Cosmo program here on this campus in a while. So they're doing some painting, getting ready for the next week, which is extremely exciting. So those are some bigger moves on campus. We have hired out some cleaning at Sycamore to get our Sycamore apartments wrapped up and kind of complete. And that should be completed by June 25th, I believe is what our RFPs, we put out another bid on that. And that should be taken care of by the 25th. Friday mornings, yes. Thank you. Friday mornings. So I didn't realize this would kind of get as big as it did. But in my Sunday afternoon thoughts, campus is closed on Fridays, and some important things to me are making sure I get enough water, enough steps, and sunshine in as I'm navigating being inside a lot. And so I thought, man, we'll put this out, and I'm gonna go outside and work from 8 to 10, and I'll just put it out there. If anybody wants to come in and on Friday mornings, campus is technically closed to get us outside for a little while, and then we can go back in and work. We had a great turnout.
You can tell.
Yes, community members came.
Great.
And it's amazing what we got accomplished in 2 hours. I wasn't expecting that. We didn't really have anything planned. It was just kind of like whatever you feel like you would do at your house, jump in, and if you see people. So now I have a little more of a game plan for this Friday, because we are having the chamber coffee at the Cosmo facility. And notice that we can do some things out there on Friday morning. So if anybody's looking for some community service opportunities, we'll be back out on Friday morning around 8, and I think we're going to pay attention to around the Cosmo area.
Sir, this tree that's outside Elvis that's dead,
Yes,
I'll take care of that. That's right, I want to get trouble about it.
yes,
Something else.
yes.
Okay.
That was on our radar.
Yeah, I
So
know
we
it
were
was.
gonna address, as I was starting to walk around campus and look at things, that was on the list of things, but. So yeah, we can chat about that.
Yeah.
But we do have some hopefully a lot of community members coming in for the chamber coffee, so we have some painting of the parking lot curb, yellow curb, concrete, and so we'll be doing some design of our condo facilities to get that ready for. And. The Kansas Board of Regents will be voting on our funding this Thursday. Just to give you guys a heads up, we'll give you an update once that has been voted on and official. We'll give you an update of what we have been approved for our funding. So I didn't want to give you guys that for tonight because it hasn't been voted on by their board. So that's another kind of big thing coming up this week that will be on the lookout. Any questions?
I mentioned a couple of dates. Just to plant some seeds with you guys, we talked about a special meeting for a week of July 8th, that's to be determined. As we consider whether or not we're going to exceed revenue neutral rate for 2024-25. So we have to have that voted on and approved before July 20th. Yes. So that's something you want to keep in mind. July 15th, we have a regular board meeting. I emailed you all about July 22nd, which is the following Monday, doing training through the KASB, which is just kind of some board governance training along with
A couple of hours.
he said 90 minutes to 2 hours.
Okay.
What time?
We haven't set a time, so that's why you guys have a preference. Wanna go done by 5 or something like that, or 2:30.
Julie, what's fair?
The week of which? The 15th. Okay, well, I'll work with the gentleman from KASB about getting that scheduled, make sure everybody knows. The other thing that, Sarah went to the KACCT quarterly meeting in May, which was great, that she was able to go. But trustees were invited, and the next one will be August 23rd and 24th, is that right?
Yes. Which you will go.
I am going. There was no question mark at the end of that sentence. I don't know if you picked up on that. I mean, if anybody else would also like to attend, we could probably have. And this one's in Kansas City, Kansas. You're not gonna get many closer over that.
Yes.
There's opportunities for you all to go every quarter, and so I'll get you some of those dates. But Brian has stepped up to go to the one in August, and as we get closer, the dates are already set, I can get you. That's another thing that a rotation might be great for you guys to experience and have, not only Brian going, but someone.
Yeah,
So that you guys.
we've always had one designate that would go, but I like the idea of
Yeah.
rotating.
We had other people designated for other things, but I can't remember now. I've never been told a date of anything. Channel 911. I mean, what we're on.
Well, John Barnes, Green Boots Rep,
Yeah.
couple of things. Dad's on the payroll of the negotiations with.
Yeah, but this was other organizations that have meetings.
We have to travel out west.
Yeah, yeah. We never heard anything about this.
You guys actually are the KACCT
Oh,
reps.
sorry.
With your blessing, I'll go, but if you guys say no, I will.
That was what we were, but I don't know.
We can double check on that. I don't know if they would. But I know.
Just, yeah, I don't care. As long as we do have people there who's related.
Have someone there and what I care about.
Anything else for the good of the order?
I just have one more announcement. Vicky just reminded me, out of our 5 graduates who graduated from nursing program, 3 of them have taken the NCLEX and all of them have passed. We're still waiting on 2 of them, so fingers crossed.
Executive session.
Oh, make a motion, we adjourn.
Executive session.
We do that.
So, okay, I do have a question.
Yeah,
If we're not going executive, right?
I don't think so, unless one of you have.
So do we have like an update on idea? I mean, like, you know, I know you're on the board, but you surely know what's going on.
There's
You need some information.
a meeting before the end of June. They certainly have something a little more updated than what I have. But she's met with Zach and Chris, with Janet.
So yes, I've met with Janet Banter and our attorney. And starting conversations to understand the process, see where we are and wrap my mind around all of.
So, like finances, how come we don't have those yet?
We will.
But why haven't we got?
What's that?
Why haven't we got? This has been a long time.
Well,
Why are they not giving those up? I need an answer for that.
well, communications. There is communications now that will be. I've got some info, but I haven't been to a meeting.
And you're on the board.
I was just appointed like a month ago. Yeah. So I haven't been on there very long. Because it says in the bylaws. That one person on the board has to be on there. And right now it was that person. So that they appointed as I would be on there. And I want to be on there to get the communications. And I have met with Janet. She has given me some stuff. But
Some stuff
like some of the breakdowns on what was on the audits. And what like there was a time period from July 1st of last year. So these, well, actually Carolyn, they actually know more. She worked on that.
I analyzed the entire
Yeah,
fund
she
back to
analyzed
the
it.
2004 forward.
And the analysis on that audit is the figure that Carolyn had come up with.
Yeah,
And, but there was like $700,000 or $800,000 that the college got. But the communications wasn't there that the college should have got, but they never presented a bill for that payroll. College did not present a bill to get reimbursed until close to the end of the year, I think.
But my understanding in our contract that we're supposed to get quarterly financials forward.
Okay, that might be too.
Yeah.
That I
but
don't
we haven't received.
know.
Right.
Gina said she billed.
Yeah.
I remember her
Oh,
in
yeah, I
the
do too.
saying she
I
billed.
remember her saying she did.
Carolyn,
okay, I talked to them last week because I had promised, Gina I'd follow through for, her, okay? And they assured me I'd have something by last Friday. And so then they called me on Friday and said Janet was out of town at a conference. And she couldn't release the information until Janet approved it, but that I should have something by tomorrow, because Janet was supposed to be back. So I'm hoping that I will, and it was supposed to be an itemization of what the 8% that they owed us. Plus, based on what they had down for expenses, that I've got the printout through our system. So it should be pretty quick and easy to check it.
But we should be able to get it all, right? All our financials.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you've got to chat. I mean, they're there when I did this analysis. I went clear back to the very first money we ever got on the program and went clear forward into order to balance it. And I come up with, and Gina checked it, what I'm saying, and we agreed that we had the right figures by the different entities, because there are several different locations, et cetera, et cetera. And we all agreed that it balanced with the bank reconciliation, it balanced with the general ledger, and it balanced with the individual accounts. Janet had all that information and we gave it to her.
That was our bank statements and everything.
Yes, it all
But
balanced.
we haven't gotten theirs.
Theirs.
But I haven't seen anything from them.
Yeah.
Now, I don't,
That's the problem.
I don't know that
That's what
Gina,
we will have.
that's what we're supposed to be getting.
Well, what's this? The deadline's the 30th, right?
Deadline.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that. In the deadline, June 30th?
Yeah, what she, I mean, they had intended on giving us stuff on Friday. And like I said, Ally contacted me on Thursday and said, Janet is out of town. I have the information, Carol, but I've got to wait till she approves it. And I understand they had a meeting today. I don't know if that's true or not, but today's Monday, right?
Yes.
Okay. They told me they were having a meeting on Monday, so I'm assuming I'm gonna have something from Ally tomorrow. But Ally and I are communicating well. I have no reason to believe that she's not straight with me. She's not, we'll go further, but
But there's,
We'll be getting some information.
I'm even confused on the 8%, does it come off the 700,000 or what's left over?
Yeah.
Or, you know, it's
Yeah.
just,
They have those
Just don't know.
figures. It's just the communications was lacking up until last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So.
And I think that's what this is all about. We want to understand how. this
And
works.
Janet, if it can be, I'm not sure what we can do in executive session. She would like to come and talk to the board. But we can't do that.
Zach said no.
Oh, an executive session.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, she would like to come and talk. Either individually or as a group.
I talked to her way back,
Yeah.
like January. And, you know, at the time I thought I understood, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. And meeting individually doesn't educate us all, because we all have different questions. I don't really like the individual thing.
So Chad, you brought up the June 30th date, and I remember that date as well, but when you look at the memorandum of understanding, it runs through here. So I don't know what the June 30th.
I think
I'll-
the split order would be,
Or the.
They have to have a yearly meeting by June.
oh,
30th.
that was.
Oh, okay.
They have to have a yearly.
Yeah, so what is March 20th, 22nd? Does it run each year then from March? No.
Well, great question. I don't know. I know
It needs
that,
to expire this year, is how it's end of this,
Which is,
Not fiscal.
not fiscal,
Not
but
fiscal.
calendar.
yes.
and that's what I was thinking, June 30th was.
No,
There was some kind of.
there was a date, but there was, yeah.
We were getting June 30th for the expiration date.
So back in March, we voted to allow the president and Zach to renegotiate the terms of the memorandum of understanding. And I think today's meeting may be the first step in that, so. This is something we need to put on the agenda for next month, or?
I think so. We've kind of been waiting on this. for a
Yeah.
long time.
I think this is.
your memorandum of
That's a lot of
understanding,
money.
your memorandum of understanding states that they have until the end of December before we can actually cancel the
Right,
contract.
that's right.
Yes,
And we have to notify by sometime.
30 days or 60 days ahead of time. it's a good program. There's been a lot of bad communication.
Well, helping camp for sure. We wanna keep those things for sure. We just wanna understand how everything else works. I don't know that we all want to be paying 90 days ahead. That could be $200,000. And
There's just a lot of misunderstanding on the bookkeeping policy, on how it was handled, and Janet's not an accountant, and, they thought they received money, they did, well, anyway.
Okay.
Just because you have a budget that says you've got $10,000, if you don't get the $10,000, you don't have $10,000 to spend. That's what I tried to get across. I mean, we were talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars here. You know, and that's exactly where the communication problem came from.
So today's Chad's first meeting that I have had is trying to bridge those lines of communication to figure things out and what documentation and what we need to better understand this process, because I, like you, it's like a foreign, so I am playing catch up and need that information as well.
So, Mr. Ballmer, have you looked at this? This idea deal?
No, I've not had that, you know, I got the, it's not a thing that's publicly put in the actual physical public budget. I haven't get it yet.
It's Fund 37, Justin.
I mean, I've seen the Fund 37, but I haven't like dug into it and like tried to grasp my head around.
Like I said, when I came out here in November or whenever it was, okay, that was the first thing Gina asked me to do, was to take off Fund 37, which I did, and I went through and I balanced it all, and we agreed with what the cash, what everything reconciled, we come up with a figure. You know, and that's where and I'm not sure that Janet has ever been satisfied with that figure, but I don't think she understands that just because you turn in a budget for X number of dollars, if you don't get that many dollars, you don't have that money to spend, and that's where the communication happened.
It'd be interesting to see if ours matched up with theirs.
I mean, that's exactly where the communication was, because they thought they had more money, because they said, well, we turned in a budget for this. Well, you don't have the money, you can't spend it.
I think we'll get some answer because the conversation I had, we had a meeting, I did have a separate conversation. Then we were waiting on this conversation, so we're taking steps to get that communications. I think by the end of June, we'll have more information. It might be good, Chad, it might be good if, like you and I sit down with Janet.
I need to sit down with Carol.
Well, she just won't be in front of all of us.
Yeah, I just like.
I mean, I honestly, I want us all to hear.
And she wants to.
Well, and her people want it to work out. I mean, her people love being here on our campus. They like working with us. I mean, that's Phil, Pam and Jennifer and what's the girl's name downstairs? Anyway, no, the other, the one that works at PASS. Okay, I can't think of it right now, but anyway, they love being here on our campus, and
Yeah, it affects.
and they've got a lot of commitment to Fort Scott Community College.
Oh, and
Well, and our
I would
students.
echo what Doug said. It's not an attack, it's just an effort to understand.
Yeah.
We want to be an educated board here, so
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, we just need more information.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we get some communication from Janet.
So, that might just make a note to, maybe we can, I don't know what's gonna be on the agenda next month. Figure out what that might be.
Yeah, well, like I said, we need to get, we're taking steps, we need to.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
No, I mean, the conversation today was good, so hopefully those lines of communication and,
So are you meeting again then? Like quickly?
so we haven't set a time to meet again. I asked because just like you all, our financial department has some new individuals and they need to understand because they are facilitating this funding. And so they need to make sure that they know what is happening as well. So that was kind of our next step, because my goal was to make sure that our people are supported and they know what they are doing as well. And that's outside of our normal, like, Fscc daily kind of job roles. So I wanted to make sure that everyone kind of understood, because we don't want to drop the ball on something, and we want to make sure that we are getting the information that we need and giving the information that we need. And so, and not stressing anyone else out in their job role, trying to understand the process. So that was kind of the next step, along with some documentation. And then I kind of explained it like it's no different than what you guys get. You get 4 packets with information and ins and outs, and we need to be able to reconcile and know that our records match each other's, and that we're just all on the same page and one communication. So that's kind of where we left it. And I guys state on where that goes, but it was good conversation today.
Thanks for bringing that up, Jen.
Coach.
I moved the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say aye. Motion carried. Thank you.